Ryu smiled and said to himself, I'll intimidate the regular angel to summon a battle angel. That was Ryu's simple plan, as a flash of light appeared before him. Spreading its wings and displaying its beautiful form, the angel looked down at the groveling emperor and said, Why have you summoned me, old human? The emperor said, Well, but Ryu cut in and said, It's not him who has business with you, drawing the angel's attention. The angel inquired, Who are you? A player, Ryu asked. Do angels see players differently? The angel's beautiful brows furrowed deeply and shouted, Impudent insect! You seem to wish for death. The angel's eyes filled with murderous intent. But Ryu scoffed and threw out a challenge and said, Try and kill me then, angel. Calrin, the ordinary angel, couldn't hide her confusion and asked herself, What did he just call me? What did that human just say? She thought she might have misheard. But the human's expression told her otherwise. A clear sneer. An inferior insect was smirking at her disdainfully. The angel shouted, Such an insectile human! What's wrong with your head? Ryu smiled and said, My head's fine, you bitch. Calrin laughed. But Calrin, who had been laughing mechanically, suddenly scrunched up her face in anger and said, This damn human bastard, that's it. You just need to die. Without hesitation, Calrin used Hef's one-time special ability, Sishal, intended exclusively to affect and control humans. But what happened made her ask herself, Huh? Why isn't this working? What? Calrin was truly flustered, muttering to herself without realizing it. Why isn't it working? No matter how many times I tried, it failed. I should still use Sishal? I didn't use it before. In fact, she had never needed to use it on a human before, as humans were usually groveling at her feet. The angel asked herself, But why isn't it working? Why? She wanted to explode that arrogant human's head like a firework, but nothing happened. Even as she glared murderously and cursed internally, saying, Die, just die, you insect bastard. There was no effect. All she could hear was not the sound of a head exploding, but the mocking laughter of that annoying human. As Ryu inquired, What are you waiting for? Try killing me. Why are just watching? Can't you do it? She shouted. This bastard, Ryu suddenly said. It won't work, because Sishal targets the mind. The angel shocked and inquired, How could you? Ryu interrupted her words and said, That's not for you to know. Then Ryu approached with a devilish smile and said, There's only one thing you need to know. Who's the superior here, and who's the inferior? The angel said, Obviously, I am the superior. Ryu asked, Ever though you've been slapped by the one you called an insect before? The angel said in confusion, What? I wasn't. At that moment, Ryu's hand flashed, and the angel's head turned sideways, and she collapsed tragically like a heroine in a melodrama. Soon, her cheek reddened painfully. Then Ryu's hand moved again. The angel couldn't even see Ryu's arm move, let alone respond. No, she was too shocked by an impact she had never experienced to even think of responding. After all, who would have thought she'd be slapped by the human she had been dismissing as an insect? And with each slap, the angel's lips swelled and blood splattered. In fact, without Sishal, the angel was no different from a regular human, and she couldn't handle players' strength. It looked like merciless slapping, but Ryu was actually concentrating hard to control his strength. It's not just because of his high level, but also because all his stats had doubled due to the tidal effect of the first Angel Slayer, which boosted his stats against divine beings. Then Ryu said to himself, I can't accidentally kill her. I need to hit her just enough to hurt her pride. After 10 slaps, Ryu stopped and asked, How does it feel to be hit by an insect? Now, do you understand the situation? Who's the superior, and who's the inferior? Instead of answering, Calrin glared at him with venomous eyes. She planned to use Sishal again, but it failed again, and she asked herself, Why isn't it working? Why? Inwardly screaming, Calrin caught sight of another human and said to herself, Could it be that I don't have Sishal? She tried her ability on that human as a test, and suddenly the head of that human behind Ryu exploded like a firework. Calrin said to herself in surprise, It works perfectly. So why doesn't it affect him? She had used her remaining Sishal ability on the wrong human. It was ridiculous, but now that she had used Sishal, her means of retaliation were gone. But suddenly the angel gathered her mental strength and said to herself, No, it's not over yet. I had feathered dagger hidden within my feathers. Perhaps I could still kill that damned human with it, but Calrin only thought about it. She lacked confidence and certainty, and she said to herself, Could I really subdue this human who toyed with me with overwhelming power with just a dagger? I need to ask what this guy wants. Grinding her teeth, she decided to wait for another opportunity and asked in a frustrated voice, What do you want from me, human? Ryu replied, What do I want? That's obvious. Then Ryu, speaking casually like a thug, extended his hand and said, "Hand over your item." The angel, shocked, and inquired, "What?" Ryu said, "I'm not making unreasonable demands like excluding me from the survival game or keeping me alive until the 20th round. It seems impossible for you angels to change the system, but I'm making a reasonable request. If you have something like an item, hand it over." The angel inquired, "Oh, item?" Ryu said, "You made this system, so there must be something. If not an item, then something else." Ryu's demand was simple. He wasn't asking for something big enough to tamper with the system, just something beneficial. But the angel said, "It's impossible. I'm just a 9th-class angel who sometimes acts as a substitute guide." In fact, Calren's role was to receive oracles or occasionally fill in as a guide. She couldn't just hand over items, as the system was designed that way from the start. The angel added, "Not just me. Not even a higher-ranking angel has the authority to give out items. In fact, humans might think the angels dragged them into this survival game, but it was entirely different, as they were just ordinary angels acting as guides." Then Calren said to herself, "What should I do? If I tell him the truth, this goddamn human won't leave it at that." As Calren remained silent, Ryu scowled and slapped her again and asked, "Aren't you going to hand it over? Won't you speak?" Though Ryu didn't hit her as hard as before, Calren still felt pain, because her cheek was swollen to the point of pain from just a light touch. Then the angel said to herself, "That damn human bastard." It was more about her wounded pride than the pain, and in a flash of inspiration driven by her desire for revenge, she thought of deceiving this stupid human and trapping him. And she said to herself, "Yeah, I'll trick this dumb human into falling into a trap. After all, he's an idiot for believing I could give him an item." As Ryu was about to slap her again, Calren quickly yelled out, hiding his true intentions, "Stop, I'll give it. The item." Ryu smiled and said, "Now we're talking. Hurry up and hand it over." The angel said, "Wait, I don't have the authority, but another angel can give it. I'll call them." Ryu inquired, "Another angel?" And he tilted his head and then nodded as if to say, "Do as you please." And he said, "Call them. It doesn't matter if you bring another winged bird brain. They're no threat anyway. Just don't move from here. You can do that, right? Angels have means of communication, don't they?" Calren said, "All right, just wait 3 minutes. I'll call an angel who can give the reward." As Ryu crossed his arms and waited, Calren secretly breathed a sigh of relief. At the same time, she had to forcibly suppress the laughter that threatened to burst forth. And she said to herself, "You insect-like human, you're as good as dead. Dare to belittle an angel?" In fact, the angel Calren was calling was a battle angel. Unlike ordinary angels, these were created solely for destruction and slaughter. Calren continued saying to herself, "When the battle angel arrives, you're as good as dead." Calren was deliberately delaying to draw in the battle angel. But Ryu, who could read thoughts, surely knew what the angel was scheming, and he smiled and said to himself, "She thinks she has a chance with a battle angel. What a joke." From the start, Ryu's goal was to kill the battle angel and receive the initial reward, and calling the battle angel was precisely what he wanted. Then Ryu said to himself, "I threatened her just so she'd call the battle angel out of hurt pride." As if she had outright demanded the battle angel from the start, it would have likely led to resistance due to pride. Because angels are a proud race. That's why Ryu acted like a thug and threatened her. Fortunately, this angel was playing right into his hands, and the battle angel would soon arrive, and he'd receive the initial kill reward. Then Ryu glanced at Yumti, who was hiding behind him, and he gave a signal, and understanding, Yumti stayed out of sight. Unless the charm rune was effective, there was no need for Yumti to step in. After all, dealing with the angels was entirely Ryu's domain. Like a predator, Ryu's eyes shone as he awaited his prey, and he said to himself, "Come on, whatever kind of angel you are, I'll rip you to shreds." In fact, the hierarchy of angels is divided from 9th to 1st class. 9th to 7th class are ordinary angels. 6th to 4th class are common battle angels. 3rd to 1st class are among the highest-ranking battle angels, and the unclassified, the 7 archangels. That was the well-known hierarchy of the celestial realm. Knowing the ranks, many dreamed of achieving deeds and becoming higher-ranking angels. However, for 6th-class battle angel Baal, such deeds were of little concern. He was so sleepy, he felt like he could go insane, and he said to himself, "I wish I could sleep even for an hour, and I'm sick of this. It'd be good if something happened." As he muttered, trying to fight off sleep, Something really did happen. A signal came in. The angel inquired, "Huh? An emergency signal." And the angel immediately tuned in and heard the message from a ninth-class angel. "I'm being threatened by a human who appears to be a player. Please help, Battle Angel." Battle Angel Baal asked himself, a human threatening an angel? It was unthinkable, but not entirely impossible. As if caught without Seshal, an ordinary angel couldn't resist. That's why ordinary angels should never get close to players. Baal shook his head in disdain. The prestige of angels was at stake. And he said, "Stupid woman, what's the use of having wings then?" However, contrary to his annoyed tone, his lips curled up in excitement, and he said, "This is just what I needed." It was an opportunity to relieve some stress. In fact, if a player dared to confront an angel, they should execute it on the spot. In other words, there would be no issues with dismantling and toying with that human. Then the angel smirked and said, "I don't care what kind of human it is. They've messed with the wrong one. I'll go and take care of it immediately."